Good morning, everybody. Woo! So I'm very excited. I had to come up with a new and interesting title. So the invasion of IoT, a privacy snatcher. I thought that was a good headline for those in the know. Now, I'm Jo Dalton, and my colleague is going to be speaking alongside me. I'd like you to actually give her a huge round of applause, because guess what? This is going to be her first main stage talk. How cool is that? So let's give it up for Shelley. So what is it that we actually do? Software, hardware, embedded systems? No, me and Shelley rock. We do client relationships. Yes, we're in the dark side, we're in sales. We're out there every single day speaking to multiple customers about the different requirements. And it can get quite technical. But for this talk, what do we want you to take away from this? Now, we don't want you to take away jargon or technical detail. We simply want you to take away a different way to think, live and breathe security. And I'm going to start off with a quote from one of the greats, in my humble opinion, that has really helped me with cybersecurity over the years. None other than Bruce Lee. Because what's important is to absorb what is useful, discard what is not, and add what is uniquely your own. So we're going to start off nice and simple, create the vision for you, right? Because we now live in this digital age. We've got the smart home. The vision is you finish work, you're taken home in your autonomous car. You get home, the garage door arises for you. You walk in, your food is cooking, your washing is finished, the radio comes on playing your favourite news feed. Your food is ready for you. Could actually turn out a little bit like this instead, though.
Oh, my God. Is that my house?
It is. Set it up just for you, Hazel.
If only I had a house.
Now, the issue is because we've got, there's still this naive view, about technology and about the vendors and the solutions that we're bringing into a home. We've got routers, servers, and then you've got a malicious attacker in the middle that's going to do nefarious things. But actually, that landscape is really, really complicated. Lots of different solutions, lots of pieces of kit and technology manufactured by different organisations, managed by different organisations, maintained, supported, implemented, all by different organisations within that supply chain. But that increases the attack surface. It increases the amount of areas where people could potentially cause a compromise, steal your data, or blow up your house. Not really, caveat. So that realistic view is a lot more complicated. I mean, this is just a snapshot of some of the leading IoT software companies. We're not talking about the hardware, the management, the maintenance. And then you've got to factor in all the different compliance requirements. Now, if you're anything like me, you're not going to be able to read that from afar, glasses up or glasses down, depending on how old you are these days. This is just a snapshot of also the requirements that each of these vendors need to adhere to. Now, I hope you're ready, because this talk does require audience participation. So I hope you're awake. I'm going to say, make sure you're listening to the talk, because there are tests at the end, and we will be randomly coming round and picking on people. If you're uncomfortable, not a problem, say no. I'll give you a look and walk away. But it'd be great if we could get you all joining in. So this is an audience-wide. It's not a trick question. I want you to shout out your answers. I want to know you're all awake, especially you at the back. What are these? Come on, you can do better. Key, absolutely. These are keys. So what happened? A journalist took a photograph and these were published in an article. What happened? We can 3D print them, which basically rendered the TSA luggage locks to be completely ineffectual. You could go and print them. Now, this was over 10 years ago that this was done in the Washington Post and talked about. So it's really old research. And you wouldn't think that these things are still occurring, right? We're all, 3D printers have become more commercial. Lots of people have them in their homes. Yet we still have posts like these on social media. This was 6 days ago. The ID card, the keys to the company, and a notification that they were leaving. It's a slight problem, right? Now, by specific request, we do have a guest with us today. So I've heard some things about Kayla. I've heard that she's old news. Well, she's not. She's the face of changes in regulation, which we will come back to later. But Creepy Kayla, unfortunately I did rename it as Creepy Kayla because I have to walk around carrying this in public. For interactive kids doll, right? It has Wi-Fi, it has Bluetooth, it goes out to the internet. But basically, just as serious researchers, she has a profanity blocker. Well, that actually means she's got a fantastic database of swear words, is what it says. So, as serious researchers, the first thing that we had to do was make this interactive kids doll swear like a trooper. Now, there are videos of this online if you would like to go and watch them. But more critically, because of the lack of security that was in place with Kayla, when we did deeper research, anyone could connect to the device. The device was always listening. And when you think about that, could be considered a covert listening device. And I don't know about you, but my kids are an absolute nightmare. You buy your doll, you play with it for a bit, it goes in a toy box somewhere, usually butt up, hair looks a mess, etc. She's always on, she's always listening. So we took this research to the US Senate, the Houses of Parliament, the EU, and Kayla is now officially banned in Germany. She contravenes their Telecommunications Act and is considered a covert listening device. So if you are caught with Kayla in Germany, you will get a €20,000 fine. What I thought was fantastic was there was actually instructions on how to deal with Kayla. They involved a hammer. And again, we say, wouldn't happen again, right? But this was a more recent creation. I think we all remember these from when we were children, but they were recreated. It was updated to make it smart, marketed as an adult toy. Bit of fun. Exactly the same vulnerabilities of Kayla. 8 years later. Crazy. Now, what about your CCTV? You implement this to protect your home, right? Multiple devices, and then that technology is also reused and deployed in commercial environments. SMEs potentially use consumer-based goods, and this even extends out to those goods that are based for business to business. They're meant to keep you safer. Unfortunately, multiple security flaws can allow anyone to potentially view your camera stream, dependent on the devices that were in use. And it's been proven that botnets can be created that took down various social media sites globally. But these are devices we're implementing to protect ourselves. Yet we can sit in our labs watching people in cafes in Spain. It's crazy. And what about your TVs? I mean, obviously some techies just don't have a life. As much as I adore them, one of them took the time to read the terms and conditions. You know, the little button when you just click accept when you're setting your smart TV up. He actually took the time to read them. They actually have in there, do not have sensitive conversations in front of your television. But that's because the solution was recording what was being said, sending it off to a third party, and that was all unencrypted. Now, they were advised of this vulnerability, and they did encrypt it in transit. Unfortunately, once it had gone round various third parties and they sent the data back to the television, that was unencrypted. Kind of missed the point. And what about stealing to order? Again, we're at our homes, we're safe. Well, apart from the fact that we can shout through the door to the Alexa to open the door because of proximity risks, we've got access to your CCTV. So what about going for your high-profile goods, such as your car? We've all heard about relay attacks, there are Faraday bags, there's all sorts of crazy ways of keeping your car safe. You've then got insurance mandates. Install better alarms. You've got a high-profile car. They expect you to spend a significant amount of money on upgrading that security. Unfortunately, these devices are also inherent with vulnerabilities. And one of the major issues is when they claim things are unhackable. We love it. It's like putting a target on the back. And this is a bit of a rant of mine because everything is hackable. It's about the level of compromise. There isn't anything that is unhackable. And these alarm systems are filled with data. Who you are, where are you located, your credit card data, where what sort of vehicle you have. So then we can track your vehicles, use the exploits to unlock the car, in some cases kill the engine whilst it was driving, and actually listen in to drivers in the car. Now, over 3 million vehicles.
It's something we'd hope wasn't possible in real life, but worryingly, it is. The black Range Rover has been chosen and then tracked and is now the target for 2 hackers who are waiting to make their move. The victim has no idea of what's about to happen, as first the car alarm goes off, and then the attackers take control of the door locks.
Get out of the car. Give me your key. Give me your keys. Okay.
A new way to steal luxury cars to order?
Shout out to our colleagues there. They are all colleagues of Pentest Partners. Fantastic acting there for the team, right? But the thing is, what I always find interesting, it's the excuses, which I always find shocking, because guess what? In this day and age, and we talk about it, right? It's not if, it's when. And for me, there is no shame in having vulnerabilities. Technology moves on, exploits move on. It's how you deal with them. And there's multiple excuses. Blanket denial. It's not a backdoor. Don't worry, that functionality won't be there in production. I had a major argument over whether an undocumented, we said vendor backdoor, I'm relenting here a bit, had to be returned as an authorised third-party access point, which will be removed in production. Honest. Well, we fixed the first vulnerability, so you can't see the rest. They're not there. So they just fixed one layer of vulnerabilities, but nothing that's underlying in the operating system. It's just not acceptable. But I'm going to ask you as the audience, because let's be honest, we're all sensible people here, right? Do you think that's a backdoor? Yeah, exactly, right. But it's not, apparently. But let's get real. So again, I hope you're paying attention, because the live exercise is coming up thick and fast. Who are the threat actors? Who do we need to be worrying about, right? We've got the film hackers. Really need to update this slide. I mean, there's so many cooler films now. The Beekeeper with Jason Statham, right? Taking down those people who were stealing money from across the globe. But film hackers are based on stories and narratives that the film industry have heard as being reality. TV hackers, Mr. Robot, actually found that really interesting, lots of really cool exploits. I'm not going to lie, it got a bit far-fetched partway through season 2. But again, a fantastic TV series just bringing to light the potential risks. Then you've got media hackers. Well, for me, sensationalism has to be very careful who you disclose to. It is important to only publish details about vulnerabilities once there is a fix available. You don't want to inadvertently make consumers or businesses more insecure by publicising it, or simply making out it's something of a risk when it really isn't. Then you've got security researchers. They're a bit of a nightmare. Can't live with them, can't live without them. But fantastic work that they do. And the amount of devices now, it doesn't matter what it is, you can generally get it on eBay. Car boots are fantastic as well for just picking up random equipment, or even police auctions. You'd be amazed the sort of data that you can recover from those sort of markets. Now, what about your own staff, your colleagues? Myself and Tom are doing a talk later about insider threat and how that has evolved over the last few years, and more significantly seems to have become that magical and mistaken and forgotten about threat. Your customers are even worse. If they can find a way to get something for free, input a code, break your processes. Script kiddies, again, they're just out there hitting anything and everything. What can I get to? Where's the kudos? Doesn't matter. They're going for the low-hanging fruit. Then you've got the bored teenager. I love the stereotype of this slide. I do. I mean, I really need to change it, but that dude looks about 40 and he's smoking. But the people trying to break into houses are teenagers with hoodie and mole grips. If they were clever enough to be crypto experts, they wouldn't be breaking into houses. Really? Now, we didn't bring our lockpicking kit here today because apparently there is high crime down in Weston and house burglaries, and we don't want to be seen to be encouraging that. But let's look at that for a second. Because lockpicking, it's different. I mean, it's really good fun. I would highly recommend buying a lockpicking kit and having them at family parties. Such good fun. But it's difficult. Once you've got through your test locks, it requires a high initial effort. You've got to learn how to do it. You've got to evade the police constantly going equipped with your lockpicking kit. And it's not something that can be easily copied. You've got to develop that manual skill. But like we saw earlier, there's then a trickle down, because people who do have these skills will then go and create a solution or a process to enable people who don't have those manual skill set to be successful in doing crime. Devices. You pay £10,000 and you can go out and steal multiple cars. So then it starts to change the risk and how you should be treating it. It evolves it. And then you've got devices like Flipper. I mean, this is fantastic. They've got online guides. You can purchase them online, videos, full manuals, full instructions on how to use them to do crime. Not to do sensible and serious research only. Let's caveat that. And what about Anonymous? We've all heard of Anonymous, organised crime, nation states. Let's look at that a little bit more. Because what's the threat? Let's think about it. Let's boil it down. So my ex-partner breaking into my email account, publicly releasing the fact that I'm a My Little Pony fan club member, could be a bit embarrassing, right? It's not really going to do me significant damage. And do you know what? If I had a good password hygiene, when we broke up, I changed my passwords, right? Those little things, changing those details will make me safer. What about organised criminals, though? Breaking into your email account, sending spam, using your identity. It can actually be really difficult to prove you're you if your digital identity is stolen. But again, there's a solution for that. Strong passwords, MFA, common sense. But nation states, doing nation state things, what could you actually do? Magical amulet? Fake your own death, potentially? The fact is, you're still gonna get got. And no, that's not great English. It's the best way to phrase it. You're still going to get got. It doesn't matter. If you're up against those sort of attackers for yourself as an individual, there's nothing you're really going to be able to do about it. And why do attackers do it? Again, this is a bit of an old one, but it was one of my favourite bank heists. 81 million stolen. Nobody caught. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, I know they were trying to get away with significantly more, but 81 million is not a bad payday, right? What about the kudos? I mean, I've worked with multiple researchers. Everybody loves to hack a traffic sign, right? Or screens in an airport. It's all good fun. Or just simply monetizing through hacking games and putting it out there. So there's lots of different reasons why attackers would want to compromise you, your business, for whatever reason. But you need to be really careful of making any assumptions in this risk about your risk or your customers or your family's level of acceptable risk. What's acceptable to you may not be acceptable to somebody else. And motivations do help you understand your attackers, but don't ignore risk because you think there's no motivation. Tracking the position of a vehicle might not really an issue for me. You know, they're going to see me go into client meetings, go into the takeaway, picking up some food, you know, that sort of thing. Nothing too interesting. It's a big issue for somebody in witness protection. Real problem here for Thomas the Tank Engine as well, though, right? Getting kidnapped by Optimus Prime. Now, I know you thought we'd already gotten started, but we haven't. You know your individual situation, you know your business, your industry far better than we do. A lot of the examples and stories that we might have talked about might be outside of your expertise. But when we start digging into the threat model, don't let perfection be the enemy of good. There are no silly questions, no silly answers. And if you're really worried or there's something you want to flag up, you can come and speak to myself and Shelley on the break. So why threat modelling? This isn't a new concept, guys. Threat modelling has been around for a very long time. But there's been a lot of buzzwords recently. And yes, do you know what? This is my talk and I get to have a rant. But DORA, regulations, CRA, all these different and they're fantastic. They're doing good things for us as an industry. But we've got threat-led penetration testing. And everybody instantly thinks of red teams and bigger engagements. Whereas for me, every penetration test should be threat-led. Why are you testing your web application from the same customer-focused element if you've outsourced your development or you're working with a third party? Have you looked at those GitHub repositories? Have you looked at it from a malicious or an accidental insider threat perspective? Have you looked at the threat model? The amount of organisations I work with who are continually developing, introducing AI, introducing chatbots, and yet they are not going and revisiting the threat model to understand the threats and risks that they are reintroducing into an existing solution. But I don't want to make it complicated. Remember Bruce Lee? Threat modelling is just having a nice think about security. That's what we're going to do today, and we're going to not focus on sort of something official like ISO 21434. We're not going to get that technical, and we're going to use an example that I know every single one of you will be able to relate to. I know, check that out, right? You can all relate to something. So what are the aims of threat modelling? Well, you want to identify what your threats are and what those associated attack paths towards that system, whether it's a system, a person, a place, assess those risks, determine the countermeasures, prevent security issues before deployment, before you roll it out, before you introduce or implement an Alexa device in your home. Have you considered the risks and the threats that presents? Integrating security into your development teams or into the mindset of your home. I have these conversations with my children, with my partner. It's important to have those plans and those mitigations in place. Opening up that discussion of security around the dinner table, speaking to my aging parents, my granddad, sharing that knowledge and that insight with people, because security is accessible and we live in a digital age. I want to protect them. I want to help them protect themselves. And it's moving from being reactive to being proactive in your actions and what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So we boil it down with 2 show stacks, 4 questions. What are we working on? What can go wrong? What are we going to do? And did we do a good job? Modelling and describing the system, determining the threats and attacks. How much risk do those threats pose? And how are we going to treat them? Are they treatable? And will we successful? Are we ready? I'm not sure I am. I'm going to have to start running in a minute. So everybody in the room, let's think about your home. I want you to put your hand up. Do you think you are more at risk from burglary or house fire? So if you think you are more at risk from burglary, can I see a show of hands? And remember your answer, by the way. Okay. And who thinks they're more at risk from house fires? Good God, what are you lot doing at home? So we're going to look at a real-world example. We're going to threat model our homes from burglary and fire. Because I want to show that you can apply this anywhere. Doesn't matter whether it's in your business, technology, software, but you can do it at home. And this is important. So we're going to look at the house, the assets, the security goals of our home, the attack surface, the threats, those attack paths, the threat actors, and the risk. Like I said, you've already been given all the information, so I'm expecting good answers. So, assets within the homes. Occupants, us, yeah? Your family, your pets, your contents, the building itself, the fact that you own or rent that building. And then there's different categorisations, because some contents, absolutely. If my house did burn down, I'd be devastated. Other items, maybe not. But again, How do you categorise them? What are the things in your home? And how are you protecting them in the event? So security goals: protecting our occupants from coming to harm, prevent the building from being damaged, stop your pets escaping. Is this all making sense to everybody? Yeah, all seems quite common sense to now. Fantastic. Stop someone from claiming your home. What about the attack surface? Because that's quite extensive as well, right? Windows, doors, roof, your locks, your home automation systems, your mobile devices, internet connections, CCTV, burglar alarm. Don't forget your creepy Kayla doll sat in the toy box, right? And your smart TV that's listening to your sensitive conversations back at home. Wouldn't have factored those in originally though, right? Your creepy internet-connected doll. And what about the threats? That was easy. We've already covered burglary and house fire. But you've got natural disasters. Confidence tricksters. Malicious tricksters. There's privacy invasion. Accidents. We're going back to nation states. Some assassinations going on. And the threat actors. We talked about the common criminals. Us ourselves. We're one of our biggest risks. Anyone gone out and left the door unlocked, forgot to set the alarm, left windows open, hair straighteners on, all the time. But then we've got to think, so we've gone through those various levels, but then we've got to think about treating the risk. So this is how we kind of categorise them. So you're looking to either reduce the risk by either fixing, detecting and reducing impact, avoidance, avoid it completely, accepting it, just accepting that's the way of the world, and transference. So I want you to think of countermeasures you could put in place for both a house fire and a burglary. I need to think about these in your head, but I'm coming for you very shortly. Now, I would ask you to categorise them into risk treatment methods to reduce, avoid, transfer and accept, but I won't hold you to that because usually I'd expect you to have a piece of paper and, we'd be doing this lectern style, but we're not.
Now, I'd like to know how you're all going to save Joe and I. So this is the part we're going to do audience participation. Joe's going to run around with a microphone, and we're going to do some threat modelling together. So first things first, we're bringing it home quite literally into our personal lives, the house fires. What countermeasures do we have in our homes to reduce the risk or to completely avoid a house fire?
Fire alarm.
Perfect answer, Julie. They can be as wacky or as simple as you like. We've had a dragon before, so.
Reduce your number of flammable materials. Yeah.
Perfect.
That was a very sensible suggestion.
It was. I like it.
Keeping recycles away from flaming materials.
Being very sensible today.
Are we going to get a ruthless one?
Fire extinguisher.
Love it. Nice and sensible.
Put in fire doors.
Amazing, yeah. We're going to be very secure. I think they might save us, Shelley.
Yeah, no risk here.
Live in a cave.
Nice.
Insurance, finally. We've never had that from the audience before, which is crazy.
Data firefighter.
Oh. Yes.
Perfect answer.
Talking my language now.
Electrics checked regularly.
Very sensible. I'll have to add that to my to-do list now.
Not use extension leads and things.
Fantastic, yes.
It's a great countermeasures.
Stop buying candles.
Oh.
Heathen! No! No!
I don't know if we can do that. We might have to accept that one.
To reduce fire, don't allow Elon Musk in your house with a flamethrower.
Just don't let him in your house anyway.
Perfect. Right, let's go through them. No open fires. We are avoiding the risk there. Nice and sensible. We've got a smoke detector. Had that one, which is great. Reducing. Hopefully our houses are all built safely. We've got our escape routes planned, mapped out. We know exactly where we're going to go. You might be fancy and have a sprinkler system in your house. And then we've got the fire service, or you're dating a fireman. So they're all reducing the risk. And insurance. We are transferring some of that risk over to insurance.
Or we could be living in a cave with no candles.
Incognito completely. And the last one, I think most of us accept this risk. Who doesn't love a nice scented candle? We'll accept that one. Okay, moving on to the next one. So we're going to go on burglary. What countermeasures do we have in our homes to reduce or avoid the risk of a burglary?
Live on a roadside.
We were waiting for this, weren't we?
We were waiting for
We were waiting
that.
for the homeless
Absolutely.
one, yeah.
Probably a weapon.
A weapon.
Okay, I have so many questions.
Be a fool.
Be poor. I think that's a fair shout, to be fair.
Yeah,
I mean,
fair enough.
we could be, I mean, you could live on the side of the road and still be rich, right? So,
It's kind of smart, actually.
end to end, yeah. So be poor and homeless.
Perfect, okay.
Install
noted.
motion detectors.
Motion detectors, good one.
Ask everyone in the town if they're a burglar.
Sorry,
Do the due diligence.
Nice.
Pack of big dogs.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Get some
We
guard
love
dogs
the
there.
puppies. We love the puppies.
Those curtains at night.
Absolutely. We'll be doing that anyway.
Trained attack cats.
Trained attack cats. That's a first.
Would you lock your doors?
Yes. Sensible, we love that.
Well, you could lock your doors or leave
could.
them open and then you don't have to break my door.
Data policeman.
So we're all dating the services today, clearly. Very impressed with that one. Oh, God. Come in.
Leaving the lights on in one of the rooms.
Absolutely. Leaving the lights on, tricking them.
Keep a pair of teenagers in the house.
That'll do it.
Well, I don't know. They clean out my kitchen cupboards every time I leave them at home. Has anybody else got something good for me?
Oh, we've got some over there, Joe.
Oh, yeah. Look.
We've got two.
Keen over
Amazing.
here in the corner.
Having Macaulay Culkin live with you.
Do you know what? That's fantastic.
Do you know what? Fair enough. Yeah, I like that one.
Having a bear trap for a welcome mat.
Fantastic. I mean, you're not getting many visitors either. Absolutely. Just set it out for when the in-laws come round, though, right?
Perfect. Right, let's go through these. We're locking the doors. Now, reducing the risk of any burglars wanting to come in. Securing the windows. We might have a household safe. Having valuable items, popping them away into the safe. We'll have a burglar alarm. You might even transfer some of that risk of your high-value items or valuable items to a safety box at a bank. We might transfer the risk again to our home insurance. We might just move house or live on the road. Either one. We are reducing the risk, avoiding it, or we just transferring it to another environment. But, hey-ho, up for discussion. Okay, we are going back to this original question that Joe asked earlier. Show of hands. Are we more at risk of burglary or house fire? Again, we'll go with burglary first. Show of hands if you think you're more at risk of burglary. Perfect. And a show of hands of a house fire. Oh, we've still got more. Okay.
Can I ask a question? So who changed their mind? Who originally picked house? You changed your mind. Brilliant. Anybody else? One person? Still one person. But that's the purpose of threat modelling. Because you can run through, get some additional insight and change your mind. Can change your perception on the risk that you're facing. Because it's individual to you. No two people are going to have that same acceptance, that same answer. So I'm really pleased that at least there was one person, or at least one person brave enough to admit that they changed their mind. But that's the purpose of it. Go through and understand what that risk and that threat is to you. And it is okay to change your mind.
That's the whole point.
I think I'm getting old, you know. So, tactical advice. Threat modelling is basically the process by which potential threats can be identified, evaluated and prioritised and customised for yourself. There is no wrong way. The right way is the way that finds good threats. And just be acknowledging you are going to have an incident at work, in your personal life, at home, somebody within your network. You are going to have issues. What should you do? Get ready. Prepare yourself. Don't wait or assume anything, because we all know that famous phrase about making an ass out of you and me. You know, you cannot rely on your backups all the time. That's same with your phone, your photos, the documents that you have access to in portals. Make sure you've got access to those. Do you understand the criticality of trying to get hold of people on weekends, especially if something in your home has gone down, you've had issues, trying to get through to a call centre, trying to get an engineer to come out at a weekend? Extremely expensive. Never assume that a third party has the same view of risk as you do. Just because you think that the device is secure doesn't necessarily mean that the manufacturer has still coded it in a secure fashion, and they could very well have a back door in there. Make sure you're doing your research and your due diligence, and simply practice. Practice being punched in the face. I do like this phrase. Because, well, I think Mike Tyson, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. It must be practiced. You'll only find the holes, for goodness sake. You'll only find the holes by practicing and stress testing your plan. Now, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but the fire service actually used to come out. So they'd come and visit you in your home, and they'd actually do a fire risk plan, and they'd tell you where the best way to get access, you know, if all your stairs were completely on fire, which the best windows are for exit, making sure you've spoke to your children about smashing a window, throwing clothes out, throwing a mattress out, so they know how to get out. You know, they're basics, but have we done that? Have we done that with our families from a cyber and a technology perspective? In regards to business, it's a very different one. But again, making sure that you're practicing, doing those tabletop exercises internally. NCSC has some fantastic resources available that you can make use of that are all available free of charge. And this will likely uncover issues with your preparedness that you hadn't expected, whether it's access, contracts, liabilities, or even how you communicate. Because, stop working, great. It's not moving, is it? Yeah.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Off and on again, yeah. First line IT support. Yeah, no, it's completely dead. Never mind. We can carry on.
Could you do the rest via the power of interpretive dance?
Absolutely. No, this one. I don't know. I have no dance moves. I'm so sorry. But what else can you do? We could make sure that you've got all key phone numbers written down somewhere. And I know this sounds crazy, but I used to take the mick out of people when WH Smith was selling those password books. But do you know what? If Bob in facilities or Sandra in management needs a password book to manage strong and long passwords, absolutely fine. We've got 5 different generations in the workplace for the first time. I'd just rather advise them on how to keep that password book secure. Maybe write things down in code that they can remember. But let's adapt. Let's make it accessible to everybody. But it's the same. So your contracts, your insurance at home, make sure you got the details. Don't rely on the fact that you'll be able to get on the internet. That might not happen. It might be at your home. It could be a nationwide thing. But if you can't access the internet, you won't have those details. Make sure you've printed your documents. Make sure you've got key phone numbers written down. Make sure that you've got a plan. And then you can go forward from there. And make sure you're communicating that plan with everybody as well. It's not a done deal that everyone will just know what to do in the event of an incident. So, final thoughts. We're going to be wrapping up soon. Unfortunately, you're going to miss the video of Kayla. I've actually got video. Kayla was my last closing slide. We were going to end it on a high with it almost swearing because we like to keep things nice and professional, don't we? But unfortunately, we're not going to get to that video. But one of the key things is regulation is coming. There is. We're all aware of it. Lots of devices like this are going to be mandated to be secure from out of the factory. Right? But how we use them, how we connect them in our homes, how they connect with passwords is all very different. And even though regulation is coming, compliance doesn't necessarily mean secure. A lot of regulations are simply stipulating that devices should have passwords and passwords that can be changed, but it doesn't mean that password being password is secure. So factor those sorts of things in when you're assessing these devices, and maybe just think twice before you buy the latest internet connected whatever, whether it's a doll, quite inoffensive. We've also got internet connected sex toys. That's a different talk, guys. That's a different talk. Next C-size, yeah. That's a whole different sort of IoT that I bring with me. Sure, I'll save that one for the next one. Credit you for that. Just to give you a different way of thinking, threat modelling is not a new concept. It's been around for a very long time. Just start applying it more. Start thinking about it more in relation to everything. Just doing a threat-led pen test does not mean you have to go whole hog and do a red team. Think about your network differently. Think about your home differently. Think about all of your devices differently. So, yeah, regulation is coming. Unfortunately, doesn't mean it's going to give you enough. So thank you very much for listening. Hopefully you'll be able to go home and make sure that your house is a little bit more secure from burglary or house fire. Or, like these gentlemen over here, you can just give up all of your worldly goods, become extremely poor and live on the side of the road. Or we can move in with you into your cave with no candles. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Shelley. Stand up.
Thank you very much. Has anybody got any questions for Joe or anybody else, actually? Not me. Not me. Does anybody want to ask the dollar question?
She hacked the video.
I'm going to have words. She's grounded when we get back.
She's gone shy. Any genuine questions? Everybody terrified now, suitably? Turn your entire houses off, never come out your cave, don't light a candle. Gary?
What's the most unusual IoT device, other than the ones in the bedroom, that you've seen, that you've tested?
Keep it clean.
That's a good question. Actually, it is IoT, but it's industrial IoT, because what we found was, as technology, connectivity, and the requirement for being able to, they actually had to know what critical national infrastructure assets they had for a start. I had to go and find what they had. But then with big data, we were finding that they were just, it's a really technical term, plonking IoT devices on the top of critical national infrastructure to create that link for big data into the cloud. That was really, really interesting because it was so it was so badly configured, so badly set up from the device, how it communicated out to the internet, how it integrated. But it was about rushing to market. It was innovation. It was to fulfill a regulatory requirements, but actually they hadn't really thought about the secure by design element of that, which was quite good. Unfortunately, yeah. Could have blown things up. I like blowing things up. Not me personally.
Me too, but don't tell everyone.
Not me personally.
We definitely won't be blowing anything up in Jack's bar later, will we, Jen?
Maybe.
We definitely didn't buy confetti cannons. Any more questions? No? Okay, thank you very much.